I've been trying to stay up to date on the ongoing Pac-12 litigation between the two universities that are remaining in the conference in Washington State University and Oregon State University versus the 10 universities that have announced, at least on social media, that they're leaving the conference in 2024. We've done a couple podcast episodes on this topic. Last week, we actually had a sports attorney on to ask him his interpretation of the Pac-12 bylaws and currently what is going on in court, his opinion. But we haven't actually pulled up the Pac-12 bylaws to show you what it actually states so that you can make it your own decision for yourself on what your interpretation of the bylaws and what's going on in court is. So let's go ahead and pull that up here. So these are the Pac-12 bylaws. I'm going to go through two different paragraphs here. The first one is the terms of dissolution, and then the second one will be the terms of the actual withdrawal itself. So in the Pac-12 bylaws, under the terms of dissolution, it states, in the event of the dissolution or final liquidation of the conference, all of the remaining assets and property of the conference shall, after paying or making provision for the payment of all of the liabilities and obligations of the conference and for necessary expenses thereof, be distributed to the members of the conference so long as they are then qualified as a tax-exempt organization under Code Section 501c3, or to such organization or organizations organized and operated exclusively for charitable or educational purposes, as shall at the time qualify as an exempt organization, or organizations under Code Section 5013C, as the CEO group shall determine. In no event shall any of the assets or property be distributed to any director or officer or any private individual. So here it's pretty straightforward. It states that in the event of a final liquidation, all of the remaining assets and property shall basically be paid to whoever is currently remaining in the conference as a member. Now going down to the actual terms of withdrawal in the Pac-12 bylaws, it states, no member shall deliver a notice of withdrawal to the conference in the period beginning on July 4, 2011 and ending on August 1st, 2024, provided that if any member does deliver a notice of withdrawal prior to August 1st, 2024, in violation of this chapter, the conference shall be entitled to an injunction and other equitable relief to prevent such breach, and if a court of competent jurisdiction shall deny the conference such injunctive relief, the conference shall be entitled to retain all the media and sponsorship rights in the multiplayer video distribution and telecommunications wireless categories of the member purporting to withdraw through August 1st, 2024, even if the member is then a member of another conference or an independent school for some or all intercollegiate sports competitions. Additionally, if a member delivers notice of withdrawal in violation of this chapter, the member's representative of the CEO group shall automatically cease to be a member of the CEO group and shall cease to have the right to vote on any matter before the CEO group. It states in the bylaws here that if a member were to deliver a notice of withdrawal before that date in 2024, the conference shall be entitled to an injunction and other equitable relief to prevent such breach. I'm not sure what an injunction is, so let's look that up. An injunction is a court order requiring a person to do or cease doing a specific action. There are three types of injunctions: permanent injunctions, temporary restraining orders, and preliminary injunctions. Temporary restraining orders and preliminary injunctions are equitable in nature. They can be issued by the judge early in a lawsuit to stop the defendant from continuing his or her allegedly harmful actions. Choosing whether to grant temporary injunctive relief is up to the discretion of the court. Permanent injunctions are issued as a final judgment in a case where monetary damages will not suffice. Failure to comply with an injunction may result in being held in contempt of court, which in turn may result in either criminal or civil liability. So an injunction is a court order essentially requiring a person to do or to cease doing a specific action. So now going back to the bylaws, essentially if a member of the conference were to deliver a notice of withdrawal prior to August 1st, 2024, the conference shall be entitled to an injunction to essentially try to stop the university or the member from leaving the conference. And with those different types of injunctions, there's the permanent, the temporary restraining orders, and the preliminary injunctions. If you think back to last month in September, Washington State University and Oregon State University were granted a temporary restraining order by the judge in Whitman County against the Pac-12 and its members. And then recently, in the past couple of weeks, the University of Washington and those other 9 schools that have announced, at least on social media, that they're leaving the conference are now trying to get the court orders dismissed. And one of their arguments is that even if Washington State and Oregon State were to prevail in court, that they can't prove that these universities leaving the conference would cause irreparable harm to Washington State and Oregon State. So now going back to the bylaws, this is what's being argued in court is what is actually considered a notice of withdrawal. Is it a formal email on letterhead announcing to the conference or emailed to the conference stating we're leaving right now? And if a university can just, send that email on August 1st, 2024, or if because all of these universities have essentially been announcing on social media, Big Ten's schedules are now out for next year showing who the teams are playing, if that actually constitutes a notice of withdrawal or if it has to be an official notice of withdrawal to the conference. So there you have it. That's what the actual bylaw states for the Pac 12. I'll let you make your own interpretation of what you think this means and what this means for the conferences, the universities moving forward. So make sure to comment below your thoughts and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all of the Pac 12 news moving forward. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.